Have you ever done something and had someone freak out over it, leaving yourself wondering, am I the asshole here? Well, there's a community on Reddit dedicated to figuring out who is in the wrong in these types of situations. I was browsing through it and came across a bunch of these that involve guitars and guitarists. So let's go through some of the posts and figure out who is in fact the guitar asshole. So in the first post, the author asks, am I the a-hole for learning a song on guitar for my roommate's new girlfriend? Oh boy. Now these posts are actually pretty long. If you want to read through them, I'll put the links in the description, but I'm gonna give you the spark notes here. The author's non-musician roommate starts dating a lady who the author has no romantic interest in. One day she mentions a song that she likes, the author learns the song, plays it for her, she enjoys it, he says he can learn some other stuff. The roommate gets upset and confronts OP the next day, saying he doesn't want him playing for his girlfriend anymore, and the author made the roommate look bad because he can't play. Is the author in the wrong here? I'm gonna go with a firm not the guitar asshole here. If the roommate didn't have trust issues, this is just like a nice friendly interaction. Two people in your life getting together, sharing something that they enjoy. That's generally a good thing. If someone makes the terrible decision in their life not to learn the guitar, don't hate the guy who did. Because as guitarists, one of the best things is like spreading joy into other people's lives through this thing that we spend so much time on. It doesn't mean we're trying to get with your girl. You know what happened when one of my buddy's girlfriends really enjoyed my guitar playing? I ended up playing at their wedding. Now, of course, this was after years of having to turn down her advances because of that, but hey, girls can't resist guitar players, what are you gonna do? 15 to 30 minutes, 4 to 5 times a week. You give me that and we can radically change your guitar playing. See, I built the Samurai Guitar Dojo for those people who only have so much time, but also really wanna get better at guitar. This is a weekly lesson program designed to make it simple and easy for the intermediate guitarist to reach the next level. Every week, we take a single topic, I teach it to you and show you how to incorporate it into your playing. And since there's new lessons every week, the new skills will start stacking up fast. There's a number of lessons already up, and when you sign up, you gain access to everything. We've got a launch promo that's just about to end. If you use the link in the description, you're gonna get in for $7.50 a month. I'd love to see you there. Anyways, let's get back to it. All right, next up, this one is titled, Am I the a-hole for buying a $50,000 guitar for $4,000 and refusing to sell it back when the buyer found out the real value? Okay, so the poster's wife's co-worker was selling some of his dad's possessions, one of these things being a real 1952 vintage Telecaster. The guy, not knowing any better, was asking $4,000 for it because he probably came across some listings for a reissue online and figured that was the value of his guitar. The author jumps on the deal only for the seller to find out the real value soon after. The seller starts harassing the guy, getting HR involved at his wife's work. It's a big old thing, but the author doesn't sell it back and wants to know if he's in the wrong here. I feel like a lot of people aren't gonna agree with me on this one, but I'm gonna say yes, he is the asshole here. I think if you know that someone is selling something massively underpriced and they're not aware of the real value, you're taking advantage of them, and that's not great. Like, let's imagine that it wasn't the son selling it, and apparently the son had no real relationship with his dad, and he didn't care about the guitar, but let's say it was the dad's 80-year-old widow in this situation. I feel like getting the guitar for $46,000 under market value from her, it seems pretty wrong, and if that's the case, I feel like we should be judging the action, not necessarily who it was done to. Now, I also think the seller sucks here too. You f***ed up, that's a real tough life lesson to learn, and you just kind of gotta take that on the chin. Sure, you can ask the guy to sell it back to you, but if he says no take backsies, man, that's on you, bud. And having said all that, I like to imagine that I would have been the bigger man in this situation, but I don't know that I would have acted differently than either guy here. Am I the a-hole for lying to my girlfriend about my guitar skills? All right, what's up here? So it seems Buddy here starts dating a girl, they share musical interests, and they both play the guitar. However, she is way better than him. In his words, she is a literal shred goddess. Now, sidebar here, I never used to see women playing guitar. I'm loving the rise of the shred goddess. But anyways, he brings his stuff over for a jam. It seems he had been underselling his skills, so when they actually start playing and he's decent, she gets upset and accuses him of lying about being bad. She's upset, breaks up with him. Was he the asshole here? Definitely not in my books. We all have a weird relationship with our skills. Some days we feel like we're the best guitar player in the world. The next day we feel like we're the worst guitar player in the world. I think the shred goddess is being completely unreasonable here. Like, imagine if instead of freaking out, she had just said, "Wow, you're a lot better than I expected. What gives?" To which he could have replied, "When I listen to you, babe, I feel like I'm terrible because you're so good." It would have been a nice, sappy moment, and then the only talk about assholes would have happened later on in the bedroom. You know what I think is going on here? I think that Shred Goddess has a lot of self-worth tied into being a better guitar player than most people, so that when she found out that her boyfriend was actually pretty decent, she got self-conscious and went on the offensive. To the author of this post, you are definitely not the asshole. Good luck finding yourself a Shred Goddess that will treat you right. So next up, we have two posts that are pretty much both sides of the same coin. We have a person in an apartment asking if they're an asshole for playing guitar in the apartment. As well, we have people asking if they are the assholes for asking other people to stop playing guitar in apartments. So I dealt with this exact situation in college. I was living in a 3-unit apartment, and 2 of the units had guitar players in it, and then the girl on the top unit was not a musician. So there was quite a bit of friction because sound traveled quite a lot in the building. Cops were called a couple times. No one was getting along. I didn't care for this girl. I just wanted to play guitar. But with a few more years under my belt, a little bit more maturity, I feel like if everybody in this situation can't find a tolerable solution, then everyone's the asshole. For us, the landlord stepped in, and the compromise was that within certain hours, we were allowed to play amplified. Outside of those hours, we had to practice unplugged. And when we were in the practice window, only one of like 5 of us was allowed to use an amplifier at any given time, so it didn't become an unholy, cacophonous mess. No one was happy, and that's when you know it's fair. All right, next up, am I the a-hole for accidentally selling my friend's guitar while trying to help him? Yes. How could you not be? But let's give him the benefit of the doubt here and see what he has to say. So this guy has a buddy who's going through some financial problems, and he has this guitar that's extremely valuable to him. He says it's its most prized possession. So he offers to help sell him some other stuff. Buddy gives him a list of the things that he wants to sell. The guy thinks that the guitar is on the list, when in reality it's not. He sells the guitar, can't get it back. Buddy is extremely upset about this. Of course you're the asshole. How could we spin this any other way? I have no idea how you could screw this one up so badly. The only way to make amends, I think, would be to get that guitar back or buy him one that's of equal or greater value. I don't even know if he's an asshole here. It's like, what's like a number of degrees below that? All right, let's do one more here. Am I the asshole for refusing to buy my daughter a bass guitar because she's non-committal and frankly untalented? Oh man, that's a little bit harsh. I mean, unless this is like a 40-year-old grown woman daughter. All right, here's the post. The 14-year-old daughter, okay, so she's not 40, has some money set aside for her birthday. She asked for a bass guitar. Parents decline because she has a history of starting and stopping things, as well as money is tight. Apparently she really wants this guitar. She's been watching a bunch of YouTube videos, probably Davey 504, if we're being honest. Oh, and apparently she's actually medically tone deaf. That's a medical condition? Oh wow, congenital amusia. So you're diagnosed with the inability to differentiate pitch, and I guess it affects 4% of people. Huh. Who knew? So still the asshole here in my books, but not necessarily for not buying the bass. If things are tight financially and you can't afford it, you don't ruin yourself over a birthday gift. However, every music store I've ever been to has bass rentals, and that can be super cheap. That's what you got to do. As far as the medical condition goes, I don't feel like that really comes into play. Maybe trying to play music is her way of trying to fight this medical condition she's been diagnosed with, which I'm sure she doesn't feel super great about. And I don't really know what music sounds like to someone who is medically tone deaf, but like, it's still gotta be pleasant in some respects. I mean, she can still figure out where to put her fingers on the bass and play in time. And with that, you can play in a band and have some pretty awesome life experiences. Maybe she never becomes a professional studio musician, but even then, I've seen some terrible musicians having the time of their life playing music. And I think you got to give your child all the chances to have that kind of thing. So much can come of it, while also delicately keeping their ego grounded. So I would say that they're the for just shutting this whole thing down and not at least trying to find a reasonable way of fostering this interest. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. I'm sure that you have some opinions on some of these posts. Let me know in the comments. And remember, the Samurai Guitar Dojo is now open for business. If you're looking for a clear and concise path to improvement, this was made with you in mind. There are weekly lessons. It's a growing community. If you've got 15 to 30 minutes to practice this stuff, 4 to 5 times a week, you're gonna start stacking up the new skills real quick. And if you use my link in the description, you're gonna get the special launch promo and become part of this for 50% off. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, look after yourselves, look after each other, look after the planet. I'm Samurai Guitarist, and I'll see you again soon.